got to earn your liberation.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. All right, everybody, welcome back. Okay, so I was sent this by a couple of people, and it's a very short clip, won't take long, but let's just quickly have a look and listen.
And we're also going to have to undergo some serious modifications to our economic appetite. We're spending too much money on things we do not need, whereas the things we do need are being left undone. So, for example, as I travel the country, nowhere I've been yet, and I've been almost everywhere, there's no Black Wall Street operating for our people. And when I say Black Wall Street, I mean a Black-owned bank, Black-owned school, Black-owned supermarket, Black-owned hospital, and a Black-owned manufacturing and distribution network to give our people jobs and provide them with the basic commodities they need for everyday living. And we're also going to...
Of course, Dr. Umar Johnson. Okay. First of all, I don't want to do to him what I have lamented is being done to me quite a bit lately, admittedly, which for me is uncomfortable and new. I don't want to take a 44-second clip, okay, and go too far about what I think is being said or done here. However, in that 44 seconds, we get a lot of the popular mythology that I and others have been looking to combat for a long time. So I don't know. I don't know his full current argument or conclusions. So I don't know to what extent this 44 seconds fits into how it fits in to his broader conclusions. But I will say, taken by themselves, or that 44 seconds by itself, reflects a lot of problems. Sort of going back to what I was saying about the hip hop documentary, if it worth anything, if the discussion I had with Dr. Kemet Shockley recently, and going back a couple decades now, if Black people, or really anyone else, if Black people or anyone else are successful in removing themselves or fundamentally altering their relationship to this current societal, organizational, institutional structures, to this political economy, to this colonial setting, there will have to be violent conflict. There will be a violent response by this society. There is no situation in which all Black people, or a significant percentage of the Black population, removes itself from its current relationship to the political economy to create these autonomous, Black-owned, Black functioning institutions without there being massive backlash. So I don't know to what extent Dr. Johnson incorporates that concern into his, but it's something that I find is often ignored. There's this assumption, there seems to be a prevailing assumption among many, too many, that has been encouraged by design for a long time, that if we just behave differently in and of itself, we can avoid all other forms of political struggle. We won't have to engage electoral politics that much, or we won't have to rely on it. We won't have to certainly involve ourselves in any form of uncomfortable grassroots militant struggle. We're not going to have to incur any of the wrath of the state, or vigilantes maybe, but beyond that, the the economics don't work. So where does the land come from? Where does the initial investment come from? Where does the consumer base come from? What is expected to be possible based on the consumption capability of Black people? Where is the external investment? Where are the growth opportunities? Unless the goal is to create a defenseless commune where limited resources and limited resources of any kind are shared, there's very little that overly simplified, I get it, 44-second version of an answer can do. So if there's no political power, if there's no ability to defend, if there's no ridding oneself of this external empire lording over, it feels like at best we've created a Palestine here in the United States. So and then I need to conclude by saying and reminding again that encouragement, the inducement of Black capitalism, the encouragement that Black people involve themselves in any form of Black capitalism, entrepreneurialism, et cetera, is itself an acknowledged propagandistic psychological warfare tool by the ruling elite. They've acknowledged this in a variety of ways, as I and others have been pointing out. So again, maybe the best immediate, to my mind, summary is that the Decoy of Black Capitalism chapter in Marisa Baradaran's work. So you can either read that or check my video on it, do both, and then beyond that, you have to, then even that has to be put into that broader context of colonization, of psychological warfare, of Dr. Burton's book, of all of that. So it just leaves out that approach leaves out so much, including how an explanation of how the economy works and Black people's relationship to it. So, all right, one more quick break, and I'll come back and let's chop it up if you want. Otherwise, we could call it a day. Quick 60 minutes. Back in the second.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.
Yeah, I don't think I think I said 60 seconds. I think I meant 60 minutes. So anyway, but yes, are there any comments, questions, queries, conundrums, catechisms, calumny, consternation, condemnation, contemplation? If we can get equal representation, then capitalism isn't racist anymore. Yeah. Or even just capitalism isn't capitalism anymore. I mean, I think it's a funny joke, but so I tried this one out today in my class, by the way. So I think it's a funny joke when I say that the most popular the most popular and famous critique in the world of capitalism comes from a white man writing even largely about white men in all white Europe. And even then it don't work. Before he even looked up at the colonization and enslavement and cultural thises and that's, he was like, it don't work. But I tried this one out today in my classes. When we were talking about, again, the persistent debate between African-centered, Afrocentric, cultural nationalism and socialism, I said, Yeah, it's not that I don't appreciate traditional African cultures. In fact, quite the opposite. I appreciate them to a great extent. But I was saying we are currently locked in a post-European rise, a post-enslavement, to the extent where anything is that, but just chronologically, not that we've after, but post-imperial, post-capitalist construct. So what we need are the tools for that particular construct. And that's where I find value in Marxist criticism. So it may very well be that the manual I have in my hand is older and predates the more current one, but the older one will only tell me how to pick the lock of a previously existing lock. In other words, traditional approaches had answers to the specific conditions that existed then. We're now in a different cage, and that manual isn't going to have all of the lock-picking solutions necessary. We're going to need to combine it with an updated manual that's specific to this lock to get us out of this cell created by this particular architect.